Hi, I'm going to talk about what is TFI today. We are a missionary organization. We are a group of people who believe strongly about bringing the Lord to others, about their need for salvation, and the importance of preaching the gospel. I want to read something from David that I think kind of sums it up pretty well, who we are, what it's about. He said, "We must get his words to all men by every means available throughout all of the earth. We must convey God's ideas, hopes, faith, love, and plans for his creations to the eyes and minds and thoughts and hearts of all men everywhere. That all hearts will be changed, that all spirits will be inspired, and that all souls will be saved. We must tell all, even though not all will listen nor respond nor be saved. We owe the message of God and his life of love to all men everywhere." That's the commission. That's what we're about, to bring the gospel to everyone everywhere, to do our part to preach the gospel everywhere. It's in our power to do it. We can choose to do it or not. And something that's beautiful about TFI is that we're actually dedicated to doing that. That is our mission. That is our commission. It's what we feel compelled by God to do, to bring Jesus and to bring salvation and to bring God's love to everybody. And you know, we're good at it. We've been good at it for all of our history. We have won 34 million souls to the Lord. That's 34 million people. That's the size of that's the population of like a mid-sized country. And we've brought them to the Lord through our faithful witnessing because we are willing to get out there. And you know, those are real people, people who actually receive Jesus, people who when they die will go to heaven. And many of them probably have died and many of them are in heaven. And you know, they're really thankful for what you did. They're thankful that you preached the gospel. They're thankful that you were part and are part of TFI and that you got off your butt, got out the door, and brought Jesus to them. And you know, I'm very proud about that. And I think you should be too. I think you should be really, really proud that the gospel has been preached and that many souls have been won. You know, from our earliest days, this is what we've been about. And perhaps in time, sometimes we did it a little bit less, but you know, it's the core of our organization. It's the core of who we are. It's what dwells in our heart. It's what dwells in our spirits. We are a small group. We're only 3,500 people, but we're in 94 different countries. We're 3,400 people who are actually preaching the gospel, who are witnessing and bringing the Lord to others, who are actually doing it. And like I said, I think that's just great. I'm really proud of you for that. I'm proud to be associated with you, to be part of you, because you're just great people. Okay, besides the personal witnessing that we've done, we've also gotten out hundreds of millions of pieces of literature, of gospel lit, of tracts, of posters, of books, of comic books, there's been also the videos and the audios. We have just saturated the world with the gospel in a form that people could read and keep and remember. And all of these things that we've done, all of these millions upon millions of people saved, the millions and millions and millions of people that we've witnessed to, the mass witnessing that have been done to probably 1 billion people, has all been part of you, of your fruit, of what you've done. It's your legacy. It's your impact, your footprint, your on the world. You have impacted people. You have changed people's lives, and it's just tremendous. And it's, you know, there's people who are going to heaven just because of what you did one day or another day or every day that you led them to the Lord. There's people that are in heaven now because of you. And that's what all of us are part of. We're all together in this. And to me, that's what TFI is today. Another question that people bring up along these lines is like, what does TFI bring to the world? What is it that we have to offer? Some ask, well, lots of Christians witness, so what makes us so different or so special or so unique? Like, what's different than us than them? I want to start by saying that we have a lot of things in common with other Christians. We're part of the body of Christ just like they are. And I don't think it's really healthy to compare or to contrast ourselves with other Christians. They are who they are. We are who we are. Different denominations are different. And it just so happens that our organization has the mission at the forefront. It's what we're sort of dedicated to, and that's our purpose, and that's what we focus on. And that's different than a lot of other churches. Not all other churches, but many of them. But I think there's like two main things that we bring to the table in this arena. And the first has to do with the fact that you're willing to go out there and witness to others, to bring the Lord to them, and that you have a certain something special in the way that you do it, how you tell people about Jesus, how you preach the gospel, how you bring them the message. You have mission skills that are rare in Christianity in general. Now, it doesn't mean we're the only Christians who have these particular skills. Many do, and many who witness and really are in touch with the Lord do have some of the skills that I'm going to talk about, but not necessarily Christianity in general. You've learned to convey the message to people in a way that's understandable and acceptable, that makes it easy for people to receive it. It's not self-righteous, it's not condemning. You don't have a problem being around sinners and, people that seem awful, because you have the Lord and you're bringing the Lord, and that's why you're there. You've learned to reach hearts without offending hearts. You've your life experiences, your spiritual experiences, your connection and communion with Jesus has given you like a tenderness that comes out in you when you witness, when you tell them about him. And that really speaks to people's hearts and souls in a very special way. It's warm and it's inviting and it's understanding. It's loving, really, is what it is. And it's really God's Spirit in you wooing them. And people feel that. And I know you felt it when you've been witnessing to people. You have those times, you're talking and then all of a sudden, poof, it just comes. The words, it's like prophecy almost. The words just come right out of you. They're in love, and it's that heart that God has for them, that Jesus has for them. And it comes right through you, right through your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your hands, everything, and it goes right into them. And that is just beautiful. They feel God's unconditional love in that way, and they feel his desire for them. And you're able to do that because you are who you are, because you're part of the family. You've had certain training, you've had certain experiences, you learned certain things, and it has brought that out in you. And that's a fantastic thing in my book, because if you're in the business of witnessing, if you're in an organization that's a witnessing organization, having that touch, the way the Lord uses you like that is a wonderful thing to have, and you have it. I've seen many of you witness, and I've witnessed, and I've heard people talking about their testimonies of witnessing, how the Lord just did this, or the Lord gave me this, that one thing. It was the one seed that entered in their hearts. It was the one word they needed to hear. I had no idea that they needed that, but the Lord just gave it, and I gave it. Sometimes you come out of witnessing, at least that's my experience, and you've really been pouring out and talking, and then all of a sudden later somebody says, well, what did you say? And you're like, I don't really remember, because it was like prophecy. It was like the Spirit of God moving in you. Anyway, that's something that I think is very valuable. Another thing is that, well, it's along the same lines, but you're able to adapt the message of Christianity to those in different cultures and from different religions. You can convey the gospel to anyone, to a hardened criminal, to a Buddhist priest, to a tribal chieftain, to just about anybody, to a redneck cowboy, you're able to become one. And that's something also that you bring to the table and that the family brings to the table, because almost all of us are like that. We can really adapt and become one with others just because of our experience and because of what the Lord has made us into. You can handle any situation. You can witness in all kinds of places to all kinds of people. It's great. And I think all of this is sort of kind of a special flavor of the family, or a special hue of TFI members. Now, I know what people's IQ is, their intelligence quotient. It's like how smart they are and all. And I'm pretty sure you've heard of EQ, which is emotional intelligence. But I think besides those things, you have SQ, you have spiritual intelligence. You have that sensitivity to allow God's Spirit in you adapt to the situation so that when you speak to others, it really resonates with them. And that is also something that's quite special. So one of the things we bring to the table is the fact that we have these certain witnessing skills, and that we have this certain relationship with the Lord that allows him to use us in those witnessing situations. And that's very special. It's really nice. But another part to that is not only do you have that, but you actually use it. You actually go out there and witness to people. You talk to them. You'll sit next to somebody on the bus and talk to them. You'll just really do it. And that in itself is extremely special. Okay, now there's a second thing. And I slightly mentioned this earlier on, but a second thing that I think we bring to the table is the principle of paper power, using paper power or written words to bring the message to the world. We're a small organization, and we can't have people everywhere. We're not in every single country. We're in a lot of them, but we're not in every city and all. And we understand and have learned from all of our history that having the message on paper, or having it nowadays on the internet, or all that medium in words, is important, and it's a way to actually reach people, and it's worth having and it's worth doing. We can't be everywhere. We can't speak every language. We can't express what we need to express if we can't speak the language. But yet here we have publications and things that have gone everywhere, millions and millions, hundreds of millions of them, and they have an effect. And we're small, but we're good at that. And people use those, and people get these things, and it changes their lives. I mean, I've read many testimonies, and I think even back in the days when, that's another thing that just came to me earlier today, was in the days when we were witnessing in Russia, when the Iron Curtain came down, and we were just getting out millions of posters. And I remember the story of somebody who had been doing that, and a couple of years later, he went way out into Siberia somewhere, and to a town he'd never been, and he went to this place, and there was a church there, and the guy who started that church because he got a poster. Okay, he got the poster, he got saved, he got turned on, he started reading the Bible, he started preaching the gospel, and he built a church around that, all because of one thing. And he had an effect on his whole city. So again, it's these, we pass out a tract, or we give an activated mag, or we do these things, and for us, it's a little bit like, okay, here's the tract stuff. But it changes people's lives. And that's a witness that goes much farther. I was reading something where how there's some folks in Africa who are talking about their activated mags and getting them out. And they said, one magazine will go to like 40 people. This guy will read it, he'll pass it to the next guy, he'll pass it to the next guy, and they're all just waiting and hungry for it. It's because the written word is God's word. It's Jesus speaking to them. And that's something that we're strong in. Like I said, we've been doing it for 40 years. And we have translators who've been translating for 40 years to get it into these languages. And we translate regularly in like 20 languages. But there's other languages that we have translated stuff into as well over the years. And those are permanent words of God in people's houses, or in their car, or in their purse, or if they've taken it and send it to somebody else, that witness just goes on and on. And I think that's something quite special. We have beautiful tools. We have, just tremendous tools. And we also have good websites in many languages. Again, that's the written word getting out. And I think that's just, It's quite tremendous. We're really strong in that, actually. We're strong in the witness. We're strong in the publications and getting the message out in that way. And as I said, we've gotten out hundreds of millions of those. And just imagine, those are hundreds of millions of things that are still out there, if they are, unless they've gotten thrown away. But people have them on their walls, people keep them, and all of the rest, other people read them. It's gone everywhere. So I would say that for the size of our organization, we have done a phenomenal job in reaching the world. We have been dedicated, we've witnessed, we've won souls, we've impacted lives, we've gotten his message all over the world in all these countries for year after year, decade after decade. And I think it's great, personally. I think it's just fantastic. The other day, somebody asked me, they said, how would you define TFI in one sentence? And my answer was that we're people who love God, who understand the importance of bringing Jesus to others and have the conviction to do something about it. We're not just talking about it, we do something about it. So you think, well, what is TFI today? And I think a short answer would be, it's you. It's you who love the Lord with all your heart and soul and mind and strength. It's you who have lived lives of sacrifice to give the message to others. It's you who are moved by God's Spirit when you come across a needy soul. It's you who believe that Jesus meant what he said when he said, you are the light of the world. Therefore, let your light shine before all people so God will be glorified. Let people see God in you. When he said, follow me, and I will make you a fisher of men. When he said, go into the world and preach the gospel to everyone. You are the TFI. You are the people who do that. And you're wonderful. Maria and I just are so incredibly proud to be part of such a cool organization with very awesome, passionate people who want to get out the gospel, who love Jesus, who will do what he says, and who will make a difference in the world. You make a difference. And we are so, sorry. We're just so proud of you. We're just so thankful to be a part of you. And we really love you. God bless you.